till my help and comfort be. Your boundless love surrounds me, love to cover all my sin. Your boundless love astounds me, make and keep me pure within. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna.
Rama Rama, Hare.
Can
Is Gaur Sharan Prabhu?
can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Adipusha Prabhu. Thank you very much. Such a sweet song. Thank you. Gaur Sharan Prabhu, welcome back. Hare Krishna. We were in transcendental anxiety. Thank you for putting us in it. Thank you. We didn't start reading the verses. The verses are in the chat. The floor is yours. Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshyam Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamshyam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gauram Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 85, verses 1 to 3. Shri Badarayani Ruvacha Ataikadatmajau Praptau Kritapadabhivandanau Vasudevo Abhinandyaha Pritya Sankarshana Achyutau Muninam Savacha Shrutva Putrayor Dhama Shuchakam Tadviryairjata Vishrambha Parivashyabhya Bhashata Krishna Krishna Mahayogin Sankarshana Sanatana Jane Vamasya Yat Sakshat Pradhana Purusho Paro. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Translation. Sri Badarayani said, one day the two sons of Vasudev, Sankarshana and Achyuta, came to pay him respects. Bowing down at his feet, Vasudeva greeted them with great affection and spoke to them. Having heard the great sage's words concerning the power of his two sons, and having seen their valorous deeds, Vasudeva became convinced of their divinity. Thus, addressing them by name, he spoke to them as follows. O Krishna, best of yogis, O eternal Sankarshana, I know that you too are personally the source of universal creation and the ingredients of creation as well. A purport as taught in the Sankhya doctrine of Kapiladeva, Pradhana is the creative energy of the Purusha, the Supreme Person. Thus, of these two principles, the Pradhana is the predominated energy, female, incapable of independent action, while the Purusha is the absolutely independent primeval creator and enjoyer. Neither Krishna nor his brother Balaram belong to the category of subordinate energy. Rather, both of them together are the original Purusha, who is always joined by his manifold potencies of pleasure, knowledge, and creative emanation. Since I did the other invocation out of anxiety being late, so I want to do Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sorry for switching the orders. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narancheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone. Grateful for this opportunity. Sorry for being late. I had a messed up travel schedule. Lord Krishna instructs Vasudeva and retires Devaki's sons. This is the title of the chapter 85. This chapter relates how Lord Krishna offered spiritual knowledge to his father, and also specifically he retrieves the dead brothers that he had, retrieved his mother's dead sons, basically his brothers who were born before him. And Acharyas mentioned like how here in these verses we see that Vasudeva is saying to Krishna that I know you two are personally the source of universal creation and ingredients of creation as well. And the Acharyas say how the 6 sons of Devaki that were born before Balaram and Krishna, they represent the 6 anarthas of lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, and anger. All of these things, 6 things, when they actually are removed, then actually Guru, like Balramji, comes into the womb of Devaki to get things set and then moves so that Krishna could actually appear. So the Acharyas say how these 6 sons represent these anarthas, and they all are removed when we take to the knowledge given by the spiritual teacher. And actually, then we are able to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, and that leads to appearance of Krishna in our heart. So these 6 sons are representing, in that sense, the 6 anarthas in the heart. And Devaki is representing the sadhaka, the spiritual practitioner. And of course, there is a backstory. I would leave it for the future speakers because I don't want to like take away their speaking material from them. So here it's pretty much Vasudeva is just greeting Balaramji and Krishna by hearing about their glories from the various sages and also seeing them perform so many valorous deeds through various pastimes during their stay in Mathura and then in Dwarka. Vasudeva is very convinced of their divinity. So the rasa is also Aishwarya, that Vasudevji and Devaki, they are also in Vatsalya rasa, parental mood, but they are in the parental mood where there is some amount of awareness of Krishna's divinity. Whereas even though Krishna did many valorous, wonderful things in Vrindavan, imagine what can be more, like wondrous than like lifting Govardhan Hill for 7 days on your left pinky. And the whole of Vrindavan with all its cows and calves and covered men and women, everybody was standing under Govardhan Hill for 7 days. But the mood of Vrindavan was they were also bringing their sticks to support underneath so that Krishna's hand won't be paining. So they, in their love for Krishna, they could not fully understand the divinity of Krishna. Even when Mother Yashoda sees the universal form within the mouth of Krishna, still she recovers and says, "Oh, my son might be what do you call, like might have been like some ghost might have attacked my son, or some ill forces are like taking over, something like that." She is in anxiety for the pleasure of for the safety of Krishna. So that is the rasa of Vrindavan. However, the rasa of Dwarka is that it is what do you call, like it is mixed with Aishwarya. There is some awareness of the divinity of Krishna is there. So that is why here we see in these verses that by hearing the words of the sages and also seeing their activities, Vasudeva becomes convinced, okay, my sons are not just my sons, they are also the Supreme Lord, not just any great personality. They are literally the source of universal creation and ingredients of creation as well. So he has understood like that these are actually the Supreme Lords. Whereas if you see in Vrindavan, Vasudeva, Nanda Maharaj was told by Gargamuni very directly, indirectly, that your sons had actually, especially your son, second son, he speaks about, because the first son Balaram is actually son of Vasudev, who's growing up with Nanda Maharaj. That was very clear for Nanda Maharaj. But especially his second son, Krishna, he thought that is his own son. So Gargamuni did not want to disturb that uh, balance of the equation. So he just says, your son had born before in the previous ages, in the color, in white color, in red color, black, and in the future he will appear in yellow color. But now he has appeared in this blackish form. So those informations does not disturb Nanda Maharaj's mood, because at one point Nanda Maharaj is saved by Krishna from Varuna Dev, and he personally witnesses it, that Varuna Bhagavan actually offers obeisances to Krishna and glorifies and sends them back. Still, it does not completely disturb his awareness of Krishna as his dearmost son. Sometimes they may get a little doubt, but immediately that gets overwhelmed, that gets covered by their sincere, or I won't say called sincere, it's not that Vasudev's love is not sincere, but the flavors of love is different, because of their intense parental affection. So because of that, Nanda and Yashoda and the cowherd boys and girls, they could never see cowherd boys, men and women, the elders, they could never see Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Even now and then they could understand there must be something different, because this boy is like killing demons and is never hurt, gets hurt, and then lifts the mountain, goes and saves Nanda Maharaj from the mouth of from the mouth of a python, from Varunadev, and so many instances that Krishna steps in and saves them. Like he dances on Kalia, he like swallows the forest fire, he swallows the forest fire multiple times. So in this way, Krishna does perform valorous deeds and wonderful things in Vrindavan, but because of their intensity of love, it's of a different nature in Vrindavan. So that does not reveal the godhood of Krishna. So Vrindavan is a place where Krishna hides his godhood actively. So it is not recognized, and all the people all the residents of Vrindavan are also in such intensity of devotion that they cannot actually recognize the divinity of Krishna. And that is why the pastimes flavors are very different and are of considered more sweeter. Here in Dwarka, Vasudeva and Devaki and all of them, they have a slight awareness of his greatness. Even the queens also, they do have a slight awareness of his divinity, not just greatness, direct divinity. However, still, it's not that they were always dealing with that like that. They do get they do get, and they have an intensity of their affection, either in parental mood or in conjugal mood or in uh, what do you call, in friendly behaviors, it does get covered, but there is that awareness also. Like, say for example, if someone's family member is a president or something, there is like a kind of a little dissonance. Like, of course, I think if you're an Asian, you at your home, you're going to get beaten by your parents. Like, even if you're president, you'll get, not at least physically beaten, at least you will hear chastisements, why you're not doing this, doing that. So here, like Vasudev and Devaki, they do have some awareness of the divinity of Krishna. That's what is going to shine through this chapter, and we will see what Krishna and Balaram will do for the pleasure of Vasudeva and Devaki. Especially, they will please Mother Devaki by bringing back the six sons that lost. Can we imagine, like, the struggle of Vasudeva and Devaki for the sake of serving Krishna and Balaram? They literally, she had to go through like six children of hers, not six, seven. She lost seven children, one after another, and then eighth child was taken away from her. And on the day of marriage, they were jailed. So for the rest of the year, so many years, they were just remained in the prison. So it's not nothing. It does not seem like a rosy life. It does not seem like a very comfortable life. But they are here playing their part in the role, playing their part in the pastimes of Krishna. Still, externally, it is not very comfortable. For the pleasure of Krishna, it can be different. They might have to go through many things, because we all think, oh, once this life is done, I'll go to the spiritual world and everything will be smooth and everything will be happy. But here we see the associates of the Supreme Lord. They go wherever Krishna goes and they participate in the leelas. Of course, internally it's all spiritual, and they experience great happiness. They're also the eternal associates. Qualitatively, they are different kind of personalities. They are spiritual personalities, never under the influence of illusion. Still, the feelings of Mother Devaki are not a drama. She really is like had to go through that emotions of losing seven kids, and have to stay away from her own son for a while. So those feelings were not a drama, they are very real. And that is why even after so many years, she remembers, I hear you both, Krishna and Balaram, I hear you both are great personalities, you are the Supreme Lord. Why won't you, can I see my sons back? So you can see the pain of a mother's heart there. And Krishna immediately goes and he understands, and he goes and brings back those dead sons from the abode of Yamaraj, and she delivers those sons to Devaki, and even them, they are all like small babies at that time. Uh, he brings them back like not as grown people. When they come back, they are like small babies, and you cannot imagine how much affection she has. That in her advanced age, she offers them her breast milk. She breastfeeds them at that in that age also, and because they drink the remnants of the milk that Krishna had tasted, so they get actually delivered, because they get the Mahaprasad, because from that very breast, Mother Devaki had fed milk to Krishna when he appeared. So because they mother delivered first on that is why to exposure some other when they will back how they became how did they get cursed to be those six children who get killed by Kamsa, and who were there in their past lives, and who was Kamsa in his past life, and all of that will come in the future. So, but I just wanted to say how here, when they realize their greatness, they actually Vasudeva asks some questions to Krishna and Balaram, and that is like Vasudeva is like trying to get spiritual knowledge, and Mother Devaki is like still having that pain of losing her sixth sense. So they both will approach and get their, what do you call, whatever is troubling their heart, they get it addressed by Krishna and Balaram. So that's what will be the main subject matter of this chapter. So jumping to do this to justification to this very particular verse 3, which has a purport. It is a technical subject matter. I don't know why every time when I speak, all these technical subject matters appear. So let's see how we can also touch upon this, because that is the exact verse that is we are reading. So I kind of went all over the place to give a context, but it is also a proper etiquette to speak about the exact verse translation and the purport, and see what we can actually understand from that. So the translation is, O Krishna, Krishna, best of yogis, O eternal Sankarshana, I know that you too are personally the source of universal creation and the ingredients of creation as well. And the purport said that how the Supreme Lord is the Purusha, and everything else, like especially the other energy categories of the internal, external, and marginal energies, they are all actually energy categories. But among them, the material energy, which is called as Prakriti, uh, is is the source of she is the ingredients for the material creation. So here what Vasudeva is saying is, we all sometimes create, say for example, if I'm an artist, I'm making art, I may not make the paper and the pen. I may go to the store, buy the paper and buy the pen. And even if I buy those, even if I make my own paper and I make my own ink, those very things that I used to make those paper and pen on the or the ink, I did not create them. So they say, right, like these a scientist once challenged God that we are going to create a human robot, like we are going to create robots and then give life to them. So we will create human beings and we will populate this world. So we will not need you actually. So God said, okay, start making. So then he collected ingredients and started making the robot to eventually give it life. And God said, okay, no, create your own ingredients, because you said you will create your own, right? So create your own ingredients, don't touch my ingredients. So whatever the we may think we are great and we are doing something in this world, we have to utilize all the ingredients that Krishna creates. Krishna is so wonderful that everything comes from Krishna. That even if we think, oh, I have done this, I have done that, we are so dependent on the resources created by Krishna. And without that, we won't be able to achieve anything in this life. And that is why it is said in the scriptures that when we think, oh, I did this and I'm so great, we are ungrateful because we don't realize how many people and how many things and how much we are dependent on others for the sake of accomplishing one simple act. Say, for example, here, if I have to just come and speak, my internet has to work, my what do you call, my laptop has to work, and you're all here, and Anand Bihari Prabhu is having the call and started the call. So like this, there are so many factors. And then Krishna has given us this knowledge. Prabhupada has traveled to the US, and Prabhupada did so much hard work that he wrote these commentaries, and wherever he left, his disciples stepped in and completed those commentaries. Somebody made it into books. So there's, and some devotees taught me. So there's so much we are on dependent on in order to actually accomplish or achieve any simple mm, activities. So there is no point in feeling. So that's what here we see, that all the universal creation and the ingredients of creation, everything comes from Krishna. So it is not that Krishna, some people have this understanding of God, that God existed and matter existed, and then the universal creation he just created from the matter. No, matter also came from God. So he is not just the creator, but he is the cause of the creation and the ingredients also. So it's a technical thing in Sankhya Yoga. Purusha means he is the absolutely independent creator and enjoyer. Pradhana is the predominated energy. The female energies are always considered female, be it internal, external, or marginal. So we are all in marginal category, and we are also considered actually female. Currently, we may have different bodies, but eternally, we are all considered female energy. So any energy is always female. Specifically here, we are speaking about the ingredients of the creation, that is the material energy. So it's called as Pradhan. It cannot act on its own. When Krishna or Mahavishnu glances at Pradhana, then the Pradhana gets impregnated and gets activated. Then all the creation begins. So we probably will see it somewhere in the future, all those concepts. But just this much for this verse. So he's clarifying that Krishna and Balaram, you are not subordinate energy, you are not Jiva Tattva. You are actually the Supreme Lords, original Purusha. So and further, whatever he wants to ask will come in the further verses. So I think it is already 7:47. Any thoughts, reflections, questions? I do see Bhima Prabhu's hand raised. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Haribol Prabhu, brief question, and lovely parsing out of the energies. The question is, you said all energies are female in nature, but we know of Purusha. So please, explain the Purusha energy and how that relates to all energies being female. Isn't there a divine masculine form of energy, and how it works with Krishna being the source of that, and also how it works within ourselves? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, Krishna is that Purusha. So Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasabhabhritya, they say in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna is the original Purusha, and from him some of the Purusha categories expansions come. That's what we call as avatars, like Lord Rama, Lord Narsingha, Sankarsana, Niruddha, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, or Balaramji. Balaramji is of course on a different category. He is a personal expansion of Krishna. So all of the avatars, they are all considered as they are all Purushas. And in the energy category, there of course Krishna has multifarious energies. That's how Prabhupada writes. However, the primary categories, they could be classified as internal energy, external energy, and marginal energy. Internal energy means all the consorts and the associates of the Lord, they all come under internal energy, specifically the consorts. And Radharani is that source of all that internal energy. She is the Hladini Shakti from who all the other internal energies manifest, including Prakriti eventually. So that external energy is represented by Mother Durga, and she is the other external energy. So internal energy is represented by Radharani, and external energy is represented by Mother like Durga. So these are two categories of energies. They are actually very powerful, and they are all, of course, personal energies of the Lord. But there is a middle category which is called as the marginal energy, Tatashta Shakti. Sometimes it can be under the influence of the internal energy, or sometimes it can be under the influence of the external energy. So that's why it's called as Tatashta. They give this example how sometimes you have a shore of the ocean, sometimes it is underwater when on a high tide, sometimes it is not, and it's like part of the bank, part of the land. So similarly, the jiva sometimes is under the internal energy shelter, sometimes under the control of the external energy. So because this nature is there, the souls are called as Tatashta Shakti. But by creation, by its constitution, the soul is Sachidananda. But by its influence, it can either take shelter of internal or external energy. So these are the three predominant categories. For Bhima Prabhu's answer, what about Purusha energy? There is nothing called as Purusha energy. It's Prabhupada's example, sun and the sunlight. Sun is source, which is the energetic, and sunlight is the energy. So similarly, Purusha is the energetic, and the energy comes from him. So the energy is always in the predominated category and is usually represented as female. And Purusha, there are multiple types of Purusha expansions and the expansions of Krishna. However, they are all under the category of Purusha, but the original Purusha, that's why we call as Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadir, Adir, Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. Ishvara, Parama, uh, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha. So I wanted to quote another verse, I'm confusing. So Adi Purusha. Adi, then the following verses in the Govindam, Adi Purusham we see, right? Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So that Adi Purusha is Krishna. And he has many expansions, which are all in that category of Purusha. The first expansion is Balaramji. Then from Balaramji comes Vasudev, Sankarsana, Niruddha, Pradyumna. And from that Sankarshan comes Mahanarayan. From that Mahanarayan comes another Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Niruddha. From that Sankarshan expands Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. From that,
Prabhu,
yes.
on a practical level, day to day, what we take
Mhm.
with us, we are dealing with, and we have a choice of internal energy that is bhakti, right? Radharani, and the energy is bhakti, love,
Okay.
right? Right? Or external energy, which is ignorance, which is Durga, which is turning away from Krishna and heading into the energy itself as a means by which we will gain some form of pleasure, happiness, and enjoyment, right? Do
Okay.
I got that straight?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So, yes. So with Krishna, he's obviously Paramatma present within our heart. So there is some energy there, or there's a presence of Krishna in his extended form, Paramatma, of course, within the teachings, and the Guru and everything like that. And then, of course, in his grace. And is not grace mercy and those things which emanate from, isn't that not also an energy, or does it immediately turn into prakriti, like bhakti does? Like when that energy comes from God to participate in our lives, even though he's always there, to actually maneuver things, is he working through Radharani? Is he working through bhakti? Or does he himself, with obviously energy, um, uh, become something that is affecting our lives directly?
Krishna is the, what you call, the original Purusha. So he does not need to do anything. By his desire, everything gets done. So anything he does, like, is done through his energies. So mercy is also his energy, and bhakti is also his energy. But they all come from Radharani, because Radharani comes from him, and then all these energies come from her also. So all of these things are considered as Krishna's energy. He does not have to do anything. By his desire, everything gets accomplished. That's why he is God. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question exactly. If you are,
Yeah, you did.
ask-
You did.
okay,
You did.
okay,
Yep. That was perfectly simple, and the fact that Krishna just simply desires, and then Radharani in service, and all the
yes, that is
extensions
why we take shelter
thereof
of
make
Radharani
it
while we
happen.
pray. Like even the Hare Krishna mantra begins with Radharani's name, because we take shelter of the energy, the grace, and the internal energy, the merciful energy, and then we can approach Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, there's a lot of terminology: Prakriti, Purusha, energetic, energetic, energy. In the simplest terms, there's the enjoyer
Mhm.
who enjoys, and there are the pleasure-giving components. So we are meant to give pleasure to Krishna. Whatever you want to call it, it's so interesting to be able to give pleasure to Krishna. It's so attractive that even Krishna wants to come and see what it's like to give pleasure to Krishna and to be enjoyed. We are pleasure giving. That's what feminine means in the terminology refers. Feminine in the sense that we're pleasure giving. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Sorry,
Krishna. And that's so beautifully put. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhupada told us.
Yeah. Thank you, Adipusha Prabhu, Bhima, Gaur Sharan Prabhu. Thank you very much. Okay, would anyone else like to ask a question? Please. Children, animals, please. Okay, we're going to Bhima Prabhu, thank you. Thank you. Beautiful animal.
He's eating prashadam. I offered it to Dandar Bakra. Or no, Deva. Prabhu, do you know the name of Kalki's horse? Deva, what is Kalki's horse name? Come on, Prabhu, you got to put otherwise you failed in this class.
His voice is breaking.
Can you hear me?
He wants to know what the Kalki avatar's horse's name is.
Kalki avatar's name?
No, his horse's name.
His horse's name. No, I'm sorry, I don't know.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat.
Oh my
Olga says
God.
it's Devadatta.
Oh, great.
Devadatta.
David Datta. I know it was David going onward. Yes. This is I'm getting trained up to clean up after David Datta when Kalki comes. Yeah, it's wonderful when you do parse out the fact that all the things that happen to us in Krishna consciousness is by virtue of Radharani. We can feel safe that Radharani is always going to teach us teach us and protect us with that feminine energy. And if we're humble enough, especially as men who seemingly possess masculine qualities, that if we're humble enough that we might be made more, as Prabhupada said, gentlemen, because of that infusion of bhakti. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
When we are in Krishna consciousness, we are given Krishna pleasure. We're pleasing the Guru. We're pleasing the devotees. But when we are in Maya, does that cause Krishna pain? Does that cause our spiritual master any kind of distress? Does that cause pain to other devotees? What happens when we are in Maya? How does Krishna see that?
Pain in the sense like it's a feeling. Say for example, if someone dear to me gets sick, I may not experience the sickness like them, but still they're going through difficulty gives me pain in the heart, like I feel for them. So similarly, of course, like Prabhupada would shed tears when he heard that somebody left bhakti or moved away from the association of devotees. Every time he heard that, he would literally be in tears actually. And there was this devotee who visited, who was very much close to Prabhupada, who was assisting him in a lot of his writing projects, and went away. And after many years, he came back. And when he came, he was very ashamed to go before Prabhupada. But eventually he came for the service. So he was going to meet Prabhupada. And when he saw, he just offered his obeisances and he was crying. And then he told Prabhupada, I'm so sorry. I was always thinking of you. And he said, and he got up and he could see tears in Prabhupada's eyes also. And Prabhupada also told him, I was always thinking, he took the name of the disciple and said, did my so-and-so disciple, did he actually go away? He did so much service. Did he actually go away from Krishna? I was always remembering and questioning and praying for you. So he had that. And Prabhupada always was personal. So the Guru's concerned for us. The pain in the sense, they're not going to jump in the same boat in the sense of the pain, like however Krishna's heart and the heart of the Guru. It can have concern. And in that sense, yes, their heart is also pained. But at the same time, Krishna was also not just like passively just feeling, oh, this person went away, what can I do? No, then he also actively arranges things in life, whether we go away or whether we stay. Krishna is always active in our lives, arranging things so that eventually we come close to him.
Turn this off.
Thank you, Gaur Sharan
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
This is the beauty of bhakti. It's personal. It has feelings. Thank you.
Got it?
Okay, it's darshan time. We need some more cameras, please. And you can even stand up if you're inspired.
Well, if you don't, you don't.
Thank you so much.
You put this for me, but you go for prasad distribution. You're welcome to come if you like. You hold this over there. Want any help with prasad distribution? I gotta go. Hari Purusham Amaham Kami.
Thank you very much, Adipurusha Prabhu. Thank you. This was the class. Thank you very much. It's a Monday, so we are wishing you that you get everything done, what you've planned. Do the right thing, and the perfect thing will happen, like Jim Najaya said. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Come again tomorrow. Share your realizations. Krishna is there for us when we need him, especially. He's there. So, with this, we are going to ask Prashant Prabhu to unmute himself and say Hare Krishna. Prashant Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful. That's enough. Thank you very much. That was perfect. Thank you.
I was
Hare
just
Krishna.
taken by surprise. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you.